Guys, it's the return of legend, real boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields.
Ventures proudly presents living legend and elite level trainer Ronnie Shields.
Well, thank you, Mr. Morgan Freeman. We appreciate you doing Ronnie's special intro. But guys, it's Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. So that means only one thing, guys. And to help me interview the living legend, I'm calling on my dear friend, Mr. Boxing Source, Big James Bell. James, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, doing well. Just a few days here in 2025, and we got a lot of action that's coming up.
Oh, boy. And we got a lot of things to pick the brain off of Maestro, one of the greatest coaches of all time boxing has ever seen, the living legend, our dear friend, Coach Ronnie Shields. Ronnie, how are you doing this evening, sir? It's good to have you back.
Yeah, man, it's great to be back.
Oh, I tell you what, guys, we're going to start off the program with everyone's favorite Kenyan accent.
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
And I don't care what you say, James Bell, that is the greatest Kenyan accent you will ever hear in your life.
it might be, but I do suggest that if you're gonna have that segment, you might want to get Paul Bearer to do that.
Oh, you know what, dude? That I'm gonna have to redo that and get your Paul Bearer impression. But you know who I was thinking of when I was doing that voice? I was thinking of Josh Clotty. That's who I was thinking of when I was doing that voice. And so now it probably sounds a little bit better. But anyway, guys, terrible fan take, and it's coming from a surprising source. And it was on January 6th, yesterday at 3:34 p.m. by Fight Hub's Marcos Villegas, who also has a very good working relationship with PBC and Al Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
And he said this: hopefully Ring Magazine doesn't become a UK-centric company. I'm starting to see focus being shifted in that end. Just my observation. Could be wrong also. It's pretty dead over here. Period. And, and obviously I couldn't just sit on my hands. I responded like this. Look, Marcos, until the health of boxing improves within the American market, get used to it. American fight fans need to stop stealing the product, and American fighters need to start making realistic pre-fight demands. Stop demanding millions if you can't sell tickets, pay-per-views, or draw ratings, end quote. Ronnie, am I wrong in responding that way? And are you a bit surprised that someone who's in this business and as connected as he is, like Marcos, doesn't know why there's been a shift in attention to the UK market?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame, but you're right. You know, people are still at the pay-per-view, and, you know, and the numbers can't keep up with what's really happening. So, it's a shame that it's happening the way it is, but they have to do something about that, man. And look, you can't take anything away from the other side because they really have some good fighters there also. But I feel the best fighters are here in the U.S.
Yeah, well, you know what? And I'll tell you how fight fans can contribute and get the attention back to the American market. And that's by purchasing the February 1st pay-per-view, Benavidez versus Morrell, because Ronnie, I have a feeling that the winner of this fight is going to become the next big star in the American market when Canelo retires. And I have a feeling that this is going to be the winner of this is going to be fighter of the year in the fight of the year. And let's just face it, how many fighters, Ronnie? How many fighters compete in a fight like this, of this nature? 2 undefeateds, 2 knockout artists, main event on a pay-per-view to start the year, and they're both in their perceived prime. When is the last time we've seen this, Coach?
It's been a while since we've seen this, and I tell you, man, this is what boxing needs. This is the shot in the arm that's going to catapult the year that we're going to have this year. And I mean, I think we're going to get some great fights this year. I really feel it. That we in the sport have to give the fans the best fights that we can possibly give them. And I really feel that this year is going to be that year. And we're starting it off great with Morrell and Benavidez.
James, am I wrong? And is Ronnie wrong in making this, in my opinion, a very logical conclusion that can you think of a better matchup than this that's planned for this year?
No, initially, from what I see so far in 2025, this is like the best matchup that's available here coming up at the T-Mobile Arena on February 1st. And it's one that, I've been looking forward to for some time, that, in our previous conversations when both fighters were at the super middleweight division. So I'm very excited for this particular fight coming up, and it'll be a sign of things to come here in 2025.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, guys. This is going to prove to be the best fight of the year, the best matchup of the year. I can't think of anyone that's better than Benavidez, undefeated, knockout artist, 29-0 with 24 knockouts. Osvari David Morrell, 11-0 with 9 knockouts. Both undefeated. Both guys are brimming with confidence. This is going to be this era's light heavyweight version of Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns. And I don't think I'm wrong in making that connection.
No, I think you're right, man. I think when Ray Leonard fought Tommy Hearns, I mean, they were the best 2 in the division. And definitely at that time, they put on a hell of a show. And I think this fight with Morrell and Benavidez is not going to disappoint. This is going to be a hell of a show.
And there it is. I tell you what, guys. So if you want to make a difference, Marcos Villegas, and not complain about it, purchase the pay-per-view, guys. February 1st, purchase the pay-per-view. If you want more events in America, in the American market, then make sure that this one is a success. It's not that hard to figure out, is it, Ronnie?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
A crowd attracts a crowd. Isn't that right, James?
No, you got that right. And I'm here to get that crowd going and get that crowd ready for February 1st.
There it is. We appreciate all your hard work, James. Thank you, brother. And once again, I'm going to be there on Thursday to interview live Coach Ronnie and to have a couple of have a chat with the production team and also have a chat with David Osvari Morrell. And guys, let's just get started. We're on borrowed time with the coach.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
Hey, we ain't wasting no time here. It's time for fact.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hey, you know I'm going to be fighting Mario Barrios for the WBC title. I'm going to be the oldest man to become the welterweight champion. Y'all know this? Oh, did I just spill the beans there, James, Ronnie? Did I do that?
Yes.
That's your first fact.
No. We're not going to talk about that right now, guys. Okay, here it is. Number one, Big James.
Here we go. Number one. With less than 4 weeks remaining before his meeting with David Benavidez, David Morrell Jr. is already looking razor sharp in the gym. Fact or fiction?
Well, that's a fact. Look, man, he really wants this, and his concentration is really high right now. And this guy, man, you know, he's really working hard, and he's ready. He's ready.
Oh boy, I cannot wait. And I tell you what, okay, well, let's just move on to number two, guys, because I want to talk about the odds makers, and I want to read some comments from our chat, from our extended family. And guys, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you being here supporting Coach Ronnie. But I've got a bone to pick with a couple of you. And here's number two, Big James.
Here we go. Number two. Although critics have questioned the mental and physical durability of Osvari at 175 pounds, it won't be an issue against David Benavidez on February 1st. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's a fact. That's a fact. Look, here's the thing about boxing, right? People want you to look great every fight. It just doesn't happen. Styles make fights. When David moved up to 175, he fought someone that didn't want to stand and fight. It was more holding and moving and, not to get hit than anything. So this is what you got, But Oswald found a way to win. He did it, and he won. Same case with the David Benavidez. He moved up in weight, and he fought a big guy that he wasn't used to seeing before in his career, and he went the distance, but he won also. And, you have to take it for what it is. Styles make fights. So Benavidez and Morrell is a clash of the Titans.
I love it. And that's exactly what it is, guys. This is the biggest matchup, the biggest and best fight of the year. And keep in mind, I know that, well, hold on. Are you a bit surprised that most odds makers and books have your guy listed as a plus 250? Or is that just easy money now, Ronnie?
Well, the thing about odds, it's coming from people who don't study the sport. They don't know the sport. So, but that's their job to make odds. So I can't tell them how to do their job. So we just have to wait and see.
Okay, there it is. I tell you what, we want to welcome. Let's talk to our dear friends in the chat. Nolo, welcome to the show, sir. Salute Joseph and Coach. This fight is making waves. Maybe we'll see 150,000 purchases. Looking good. In my opinion, I'll be disappointed with all of you guys if this isn't well over 300,000 purchases. And that's the bar I'm setting, because that's how good this fight and how great this matchup is. Okay, and I'm sorry, guys. I stand by that. Tycho TV, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for supporting Coach Ronnie on this day. We love seeing you in the chat. Charles, good for you. Good to see you, my friend. Greetings. I saw the PBC interviewed many media experts covering the Benavidez Morrell fight, and they all picked Benavidez. Does this give Team Morrell extra motivation to prove them all wrong?
Well, we don't need the extra motivation, because this is what we figured. And again, everyone is looking at Morrell being 11-0. Simple.
Well, in the immortal words of Emmanuel Stewart, coach, records, trinkets, and resumes are for fans, writers, and network executives
There
who
you
don't
go.
quite understand what they're looking at in the ring just yet.
Absolutely.
And there it is, because every fighter that I know, every fighter is thinking, man, I think David Benavidez made a huge mistake picking on Osvari at this time. If he wants the big fight with Canelo, yeah, this is the wrong way to go about getting it. So, James, do you have any more to add to that before I ask him the question on the title?
It's interesting that you talk about that PBC thing with the media experts, given that I know pretty much most of those people that they asked to give their take on this particular fight, and a number of them know how I feel about this particular fight and the details of why I said what I said. So it's gonna make it really, really, really good come February 1st. Like I said, I can't wait for this fight. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Tell you what, I love it. I love it. Now, you know what? It'll be just that much more fulfilling when we get to gloat and Coach Ronnie gets the gloat the following Tuesday and say, I told you so. That's what you get. Never doubt my man ever again. The next big star of boxing in the American market. I will say this, though. Coach is right. Coach, you guys get up for every fight. There is no extra motivation for any of these matchups, is there?
Not at all, man. This is boxing. When you've been in the sport for a very long time, you understand that, of course, certain fights have certain meaning to it. But when you're training for a fight, all fights are the same. You have to be at your top peak. You got to be at your peak to put on a great performance. And this is what fighters do.
In other words, Coach, every fight is a must-win, unlike other sports where, and isn't that the worst question you could ever ask anyone in any sport? Hey, you know what? You're 2 games down. Do you feel that this is a must-win? You know what, man? Every game is a must-win to us, Junior. Sit down. Who gave you this job anyway, dude? Do you ever feel like that when media members ask you stupid questions like that?
Oh, all the time. And
You're including those last 2 bozos that just had an interview with you. Right, Ronnie?
No, but you have to understand, man, that in the sport, we expect certain questions. We anticipate what's going to be asked.
Yeah, even though they're asked about 100 times.
Yes.
Oh, Chingao. It's like, can you guys think of any different questions?
It's always the same answer, though.
Well, yeah, I guess you guys get plenty of practice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Practice. You talking about practice.
Man, we talking about practice. Man, it's practice. Hey, how about that new Cat Williams hairdo from Tank Davis? Any comment on that, Coach?
None whatsoever. I haven't seen it. So, well, actually, I did see it.
Oh, boy.
But no comment on it.
Yeah. I think his new hairstylist is Blair the Flair Cobbs. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, Chingao. We're having too much fun on this show, man. It's good to have you back, Ronnie.
Good to be back.
G Funky Boxing, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach on this day, as usual. And guys, if you haven't already, please go support my brother G Funky Boxing. And I tell you what, G Funky is going to be doing his part to promote this event. He's staging a Lena Promotions watch party at Mr. Tequila on February 1st with all of the future stars of Sacramento. Guys, hit up G Funky on how to see that event. Mr. Tequila at Rancho Cordova, California. they're going to be showing W.A.W versus David Benavidez, the fight of the year. Yes, sir. What a way to kick off 2025, man. Raphael, welcome to the show, sir. And thank you for supporting our beloved coach. And he goes, Ronnie, are you in Floyd Schofield's corner with Juan Guzman? By the way, I got Benavidez, no disrespect. Brother, why don't you just give him a nice paper cut and pour lemon juice? That's like 2 insults. Okay, would you like to clear the air on the Floyd Schofield, whatever?
Yes. No, I'm not in the corner of Floyd Schofield. When he fights Shakur, I'm not there. I don't train Floyd Schofield. I've only trained him for like, I think it was 2 fights I trained him for early on in his career. But yeah, I think I'm not sure, but I think Juan Guzman is training him. I'm not sure about that, but I think so. And I wish him all the best.
And there it is. And there it is. I tell you what, Juan Guzman's an excellent, was an excellent fighter and is a very good trainer. But yeah, best of luck with that. Best of luck. Tell you what. How many champions has Juan Guzman actually cultivated, nurtured from the ground up? Okay, that's what I thought. Lance Meyer, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach on this day. We love you, man. And Raphael, back to it. He says it's a great matchup, but the February 22nd card in Saudi is fire, and I defy you to select any one of those matchups that's better than Benavidez versus Morrell. Show me one. And you can't put the Berterbia versus Bivol because we've already seen it, how it plays out. Where's the intrigue? Do you see it playing out any differently than the first one, Coach?
No.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
It's going to be a lot like Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk 2.
I have it playing a little bit differently.
Oh, yeah. You have Bivol getting knocked out, don't you?
That's right. That's right.
Well, you know, man, that might be worth my 2 bits. But look, I'm sorry. There isn't another matchup on that card that's better than Morrell Benavidez for all the marbles. Yeah, someone's always got to go. 2 knockout artists, the irresistible force versus the immovable object. I just don't see it. And if you think Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov is going to be like that, guess again. He just stunk out the joint against Terrence Crawford, and he doesn't even deserve this fight. And yeah, I said it. Oh, Chingao. Anyway, I think I said too much about that. But thank you for being here, Raphael. We appreciate your support in the coach, my friend. Joseph S., welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting coach. Ask Ronnie about Lotta getting robbed versus by Bumnello. Well, look, right now I love Canelo's fans because they're supporting Ronnie's guy, W.A.W, David Morrell Jr. And there's no way in Hades they're supporting David Benavidez. So, Coach, this time around, you're not so, you don't really mind the Canelo fans, do you?
Oh, I love them.
Viva Mexico.
Absolutely.
But let's ask you about that. You've always wanted that 3rd crack at Canelo. And yes. I really thought you were going to get it several times with Jamal being the prime candidate. Yeah. And he could have gotten it last September, right? September 2023.
Right.
And a lot of people are talking about William Skull possibly getting the Canelo fight. We know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, that's going to sell about maybe 15,000. That's going to sell more, just a little bit more pay-per-views than Clarissa Shields. I'll say that.
Should sell even less.
Oh, Chingao. Well, you know what? Let's revisit this, guys, because I know someone. We're going to jump the gun right here. Because I know a couple of guys who are going to sell even less pay-per-views in 2025. Big James, number 4. We're jumping to 4.
With Wilder and Haney announcing tune-ups in back-to-back months on BLK Prime. This is exactly where Teofimo needs to be to discover his accurate market value, fact or fiction.
Wow, that could be a fact, man.
Hmm.
Because, you know, sometimes, guys don't understand where they're at as far as pay-per-view is concerned, you know, and they don't realize you have to start at the bottom and work your way to the top. Can't start from the top because there ain't but one place to go when you start at the top, and that's down. And a lot of guys don't understand how pay-per-view even works. So, you know, you may think you have the fans and you don't have them. So, but everybody wants to make this money and don't realize what they're up against. You just can't ask for so much money when they look at your numbers
Yep.
and tell you, "Hey, man, and you want what?" That's the answer you get.
Yep. Exactly.
Now, Coach, two things on this. One, Deontay Wilder coming back, and we've got another Fact or Fiction talking about this, but this, in whose mind is this a good idea, Ronnie?
For Wilder, you talking about?
Wilder, and we'll get to the other guys in a second,
Yeah.
but Wilder, Deontay Wilder, why is he still hanging around the sport? But this is nothing new with boxing, is it?
Oh no, it's nothing new. Look, I haven't seen a fighter yet that didn't think that that their career is not over. And
Yeah.
it's but here's the crazy thing about boxing. When you got guys like a Deontay Wilder who has that one big punch, that keeps you going because you know you have that. And at any moment when you hit somebody that it can turn your whole career back around. And that can happen. It has happened in our sport. So, so I understand completely why Wilder isn't going anywhere. So, but you have to understand that, it takes a lot to get in that ring. And, fighters don't want to hear other people tell them their career is over. They have to know it for themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, you know what? Don warned me about this a long time ago. He said, Joseph, and I'm referring to Don Chargan, the great, God rest his soul. And he said, Joseph, every great fighter thinks he has one more championship performance left in him.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it's
That's
sad.
true. That's the
It's
truth.
sad. But I tell you what, and so Deontay, once again, a guy who was brimming with confidence at one time. And even after all of his setbacks and the terrible accusations he made when he got his, rear end handed to him by Tyson Fury, he just still can't deal with it. He can't deal with it. Or does he just owe several women too much money? Is that it? Is that the real reason? No, we're not going to go there, guys. We love Deontay, man. We're not going to go there, guys. James, do you have anything else on this topic with Deontay Wilder, or will you have more later on in the show?
Now, just a real quick here, very good point here raised by Coach Ronnie Shields, reference to Deontay Wilder and how he was able to get to where he was as WBC heavyweight champion with his, his right hand. And so when you're known for that and you haven't necessarily developed anything outside of that, then you're really at a dilemma at this particular point of your professional career. You lost a couple of times in your last two fights, your last one being a knockout loss, and you don't know if you could take a tune-up or if it's something where it's a big money fight in this particular sense. Because if you, for example, for Wilder, if he takes a tune-up and loses, then that's it. It's a wrap. He's done.
Yeah.
So as a professional fighter, as someone who went through what he's went through over the course of 2024, not just inside the ring, but outside of the ring, whether it's, surgery or anything else, right? This is something where we got to see, okay, who is he going to fight next and how is that going to prepare him for the rest of 2025?
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
Oh, boy. I tell you what, though, guys. Now, let's get back to Teofimo Lopez. because I haven't verified this yet. I'm waiting for guys to get back to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems, though, as if he finally did it. He pissed off the wrong executive. And now Teofimo Lopez is going the same route as Mikey Garcia, the late, great Omar Henry, God rest his soul. You know Omar.
No.
And they have finally put him on ice.
Oh, no.
That's why Elvis Rodriguez is now getting the Subriel Matias fight. And Devin Haney, well, he's going to be fighting more than likely either Blair the Flair Cobbs or Adrian Broner or someone else like that. We'll see who James thinks he's going to fight a little bit later on Factor Vision.
No.
Coach, are you surprised that he is going to be skating on the shelf for the remainder of his contract duration?
I'm not surprised at all. You know, sometimes guys, they overthink their own careers. And, you know, these promoters, they'll ice you down. When you think you know it all and you don't. So I'm not surprised by this at all. Not at all.
No.
Oh, boy. And poor Omar. You know what? He was, if my memory serves me correctly, he was the very first Ryan Garcia type fighter that made his bones on social media, right? Omar? He was a knockout artist. He was an excellent, athletically gifted fighter. But, man, he was a pain in the rump, and God rest his soul. He was a great kid, but very promising career, but they had had enough. And they don't care who you are.
No.
When you get too big for your britches, they'll say, sayonara, you're too much trouble, and we're going to put you on ice. The only chance, and let's explain what that means, though, Coach, because there are a lot of fans who don't understand what this entails. You can't negotiate with anyone.
No,
You can't
no.
you can't do anything until your contract runs out.
Absolutely.
And from what I've been told, that's 2026 with Teofimo Lopez. The end of 2026.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Say goodbye to your fighting prime.
Wow.
Unless someone wants to buy out his contract.
Yeah.
And who's willing to do that with that delusional guy?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy. Oh, goodness, man. Because we've talked about this thing here with Teofimo Lopez over 2024 and how he was the turn down king in 2024. Now, given what was happening in the tail end of the year with potential fights that Teofimo Lopez had, even outside of this thing here with Subriel Matias, now it's looking like he doesn't even want that fight with Subriel Matias. Then, yeah, he deserves to be on ice here for the rest of 2025. And then, yeah, it could extend to the end of 2026 because, listen, Teofimo Lopez, you ain't the guy. You're not the guy. You haven't really shown anything that shows you're the guy, and you haven't been able to put yourself in a position for fights that could make you show that you're the guy. So why are you doing this as far as like turning down fights where you could have potentially had the chance to win, a chance to get the money that you're looking for, or get the notoriety that you're looking for, and you're turning them down? Nah, you need to be on the shelf, bro.
Well, you know, a promoter don't have no problem putting you on the shelf. You know, no fighter is bigger than the sport, no matter who you are. You may think you are, but no fighter is bigger than the sport. And this is what happens at times. And, you know, they don't realize when a promoter have you in the contract and they offer you a fight and you turn it down, that counts as a fight.
Well, you know what? In Teofimo Lopez, he said this on his social media. Oh, and I've got freedom of speech to say what I want to say about Todd DeBuff, son-in-law to Bob Arum and executive vice president of Top Rank Promotions, Top Rank Inc. And yes, you do have freedom of speech on social media, Teofimo, but you better be prepared to take the freedom of what Top Rank has prepared for you when you do open your mouth like that on social media and badmouth Todd DeBuff. You know what? We reap what we sow in this world, and in this business, you give what you get, what you give. And that's it. What you give is what you get, my friend. So, hey,
Wow.
you've got the freedom to take it on the shelf. How do you like that, Teofimo? You did this. You did this. Man, you had the ability and the charisma. You had it all. And Top Rank was going to give it to you. But you thought you were worth more money. And so you ran that fight with George Kambosos to purse bid, and Triller won it. How was that fight on Triller? Never happened. Wasted an entire year of your career. And when you kept killing yourself to make 35, what happened? You went on DAZN on a Matchroom fight card, and you lost. And it was all downhill from there. And stinking out the joint against Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz didn't help either, did it, Coach?
Not at all.
Brother, what you give is what you get. Thanks for playing, son. Oh, boy.
Wow.
Tell you what, it's such a shame. Your final thoughts on this, Coach, because I really don't want to revisit this, because I actually like Teofimo as a fighter.
Yeah, I mean, I love him as a fighter. He's a really, really good fighter. But, you know, when you sign these promotional contracts and you can't basically do what you want to think you can do, because it just won't happen without them. When you sign on a dotted line, you agree to certain things to happen, and you have to stick with that, because they're not going to let you out. They're not going to let you get away with things that you think you deserve or whatever. They stick by the contract, and it's very few that really offer you more than what your contract says. But that's a slim option that happens sometimes. But, you know, when you sign these promotional contracts, you know, you have to abide by the contract. Simple as that.
And that's it. And Coach Teofimo and any fighter, when you think you're worth more than what they're offering you, ask yourself, this is based on what?
Yeah.
What are you basing this off of? What you think you deserve or what you actually deserve? And ask yourself, what determines your market value?
Exactly.
Ratings, pay-per-views, ticket sales. To the best of my knowledge, Coach, has Teofimo Lopez ever sold out a venue larger than 5,000 seats?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of either, unless you're looking at Rumpelstiltskin Arena in Fantasyland, because that's where his head is right now.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of fighters, man, they really believe they're bigger than what their numbers show. They're going to always go back and show you your numbers. And you can think they make these numbers up, but you can check them yourself and see where you at. And before you start talking, you have to have proof that you are worth what you say you're worth.
That's right. What is your opinion and assessment based on? What is it based on, guys? Tell you what, it's enough to drive you mad. But I tell you what, and Raphael, boy, he's laughing at us, Coach Ronnie. Yeah, no, he says, thank you, Coach Ronnie. And yes, we all thank you, Coach Ronnie, for spending your time. Look, and Charles says, yeah, every one of those media members who said Benavidez was going to win never mentioned how he would win, but just said he had more experience. Coach, would you like to nip that in the bud right now?
Experience doesn't mean anything, because you haven't fought the guy they put in front of you yet. So what does experience do for you? Alvaro have 11 fights. All of the guys before him had much more. So does their experience mean anything? Absolutely not.
Well, I tell you this, Benavidez, does he have any experience fighting someone who punches as hard as Osvati? Does he have any experience fighting someone as athletically gifted and as tall and as rangy as Osvati? Does he?
No,
No. Does he have?
absolutely not.
Like, honestly, this is going to be an eye-opener for David Benavidez.
Oh, no
James,
doubt.
this is going to be a real shocker for David Benavidez when he sees the timing, speed, and movement and feels that power of David Morrell Jr. In my opinion, this is going to be a real shock to the system,
I think
James.
you will. And the thing is, you talk about timing, speed, movement, but also the fluidity of Osvari. This is something that I mentioned in actually my first film study leading into this fight card. We talked about Osvari's bout there that he had against Mike Gavronsky. And there he showed his offensive repertoire and also the level of fluidity that he has with the punches that he throws. And yeah, Benavidez hasn't really seen that from a number of the fighters that he's faced over his professional career to this point.
Yeah, you know what, guys? It's going to be in my opinion, a real shock to the system. He's coming in as the big bad boogeyman of boxing. Wow. We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it didn't work out too well against Martin Baculli for Jared Anderson when he thought he was the heir apparent to heavyweight boxing in America. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens this time. And Jump to, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for supporting the coach. He goes, but coach, how does Morrell keep up with the output of Benavidez? Coach, are we going to see him with the same output when he tastes the power of Osvati within the first 3 rounds?
That's exactly right. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see what his output means.
Guys, that's why you have to buy this video. You have to buy this pay-per-view. Come on now.
Buy the pay-per-view.
Buy the pay-per-view. You don't want to miss it. And once again, it's not the same, Ronnie, is it? Like hearing about it, seeing the highlights. There's nothing like seeing a prize fight when it happens live.
Absolutely. It's the best thing in the world.
It's the best thing in the world. It's the best sport in the world. Ronnie, what's the best fight that you've ever been a part of? And then the best fight you've ever seen live?
Well, the best fight, I think one of the best fights. I've been in a lot of great fights, but one of the best fights, I think, at the time was when Pernell Whitaker fought Julio Cesar Chavez in San Antonio, Texas.
Massive crowd. I was there. I was there as a fan with my pops. That was at the Alamo Dome. Was it 55,000?
I thought it was more than that, man.
65,000. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot. But it was
back to the rafters.
Yes, it was.
And then what's the best fight you've ever seen as a fan, as an attendee ringside, otherwise, whatever?
Man.
Yeah.
I can't really just pick one because I've seen so many great fights.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick one.
But I tell you what, guys, the point is live, there's nothing that touches boxing, a live prize fight. Seeing the theater of the unexpected, the drama ensue. And it's the culmination of all the bad blood spoken between the two fighters, culminating in one dramatic conclusion one night. February 1st, guys. You guys have to see it live. And don't steal it, you dirty buggers.
Filthy animals.
You filthy animals. And there it is. Ray Kuvan TV. Welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you, man. Thank you for supporting the coach of this. Thank you. I'll use a snippet of your video, coach. He says, salute to Coach Ronnie, the greatest trainer alive. Tell him Ray Kuvan TV salutes him. You can tell him yourself, sir. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree with you. One of the greatest of all time that the sport has ever seen. Thank you very much. And Coach Ronnie, you learn from the best. Like your influences are legendary. Defensive master, Georgie Benton,
Yes, indeed.
and Emmanuel Stewart, the trainer of champions.
Yes, indeed.
Holy cow!
You know, let me tell you something, man. I trained under Georgie Benton, right, for about 10 to 12 years. And then, you know, with Emmanuel, I've been knowing Emmanuel since I was like 14, 15 years old when I first met Emmanuel. And I've always seen him, you know, at these amateur tournaments. We always spoke every time. And then when I became a trainer, you know, I used to call him all the time and get advice from him when I became a head trainer. And, you know, just unbelievable, man, unbelievable. And Georgie Benton was the same way. You know,
And
these
there it
guys,
is.
they know everything. They knew everything about the sport. They knew everything about every fighter. You know, they know how to break down and help me to break down fights. And man, it's something that I would never forget in my life.
Oh, I tell you what, that's brilliant, brilliant. I tell you, you know, and once again, two of the all-time greats passing that torch. Tell you what, Ronnie, you're in good hands, and Dave Morrell fans, you're in good hands. Coach Ronnie is the best in the business. And hi, Kuman. Welcome to the show, sir. He says, salute to channel, chat, and panel. Ask Ronnie how many rounds for Morrell to get the job done on February 1st.
Well, you know what, man? I don't train guys to go no more than what the rounds are supposed to be, 12 rounds. You know, because you never know in these fights. You know, yes, we can hit him and hurt him and knock him out early. That can happen. But if it doesn't happen, we have to be prepared for 12 rounds. So we don't train for specific rounds. What we do is we train for a hard 12 rounds. And that's what we do in the gym every single day.
There it is. There it is. I tell you what, we're running out of time. It's already almost 50 minutes in, and we still have a couple more fact or fiction. Oh gosh, and we're only on okay. There it is, number 5, Big James, and then we'll jump to yours, and then we'll call it a show, sir.
All right, gotcha. All right, number 5. Although fans and writers are calling Usyk an all-time top 10 heavyweight, a prime David Tua and Ike Ibeabuchi would have stopped him within the distance. Fact or fiction?
You know what? I'm gonna say fiction. And you know, I trained David, and I know I could be a Bucci from because he fought David Tua. Look, you know, people are sleeping on Usyk, man. This guy can fight. Simple as that. You know, he's a really good fighter. He proved it, you know, as an amateur. He proved it by winning the cruiserweight title. He proved it by winning the heavyweight championship of the world. What more can this guy do to have to continue to prove to people that he's one of the best fighters in the sport of boxing? This guy, he's everything, you know, and he's a very difficult guy to fight. You know, when he fought Daniel Dubois, you know, I thought that should have been a knockout. You know, they didn't call it, and he got a gift on that one. But he came back doing the same fight, and he won. So
Knocked him out.
I can't wait for the rematch because
And it's coming.
Dubois is a different fighter now than he was a year ago. He's a very different guy, and you know, and I'm picking Dubois to win that fight if they ever do fight.
Ooh.
But please don't sleep on Usyk, though. Please don't sleep on Usyk because Usyk, you know, he's not a big guy. He's not, but he fights big.
And there it is. There it is. Number 6, Big James.
All right, Vito Milnicki Jr. will raise a lot of eyebrows as he will have an impressive win over the Irishman, Conor Coyle, on February 14th. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's definitely a fact. Let me tell you something, man. Vito Milnicki, you know, they can sleep on this guy all they want to, but this kid can really fight. And Conor Coyle is going to find out how good he really is. And it's not by talking, it's by seeing what this kid can really do. And he's unbelievable in the gym, man. It's unbelievable. You have to watch this guy train, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. You know, this guy was born to be a winner.
Definitely.
Wow, I tell you what, we can't wait to see it. And other fights have been announced on that card. And once again, guys, that's going to be on the undercard of Keyshawn Davis versus Dennis Berenchik. But surprise, surprise, who's coming back before Martin Bacoli is none other than Jared Anderson. Coach, can Jared Anderson ever be the same again?
He's fighting Montecoli again.
No. He's fighting on your card with
He's fighting on the same card.
Your little brother Vito Milnecki.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let me tell you something, man. Jared, he's still a young guy, so there's nothing. Jared is not an old guy. You know, look, he ran into a wall when he fought Bacoli, and hopefully hopefully he's learned that you can't underestimate certain fighters in this sport. You know, you have to prepare for everybody, and no matter who it is. But look, Jared is young enough to come back. You know, he's not an old guy. So one fight is not going to determine his career. So he will come back, and I think he'll come back strong.
Well, look, to the best of my knowledge, Coach, please correct me if I'm wrong. The only heavyweights to ever come back after getting demolished like that have been Vladimir Klitschko and John Ruiz, and they to win a world title, and they both implemented the same stinker, huggy man style that turned off fans from the heavyweight division and wasn't good for the sport of boxing. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but those are the only two I can think of, Coach.
Well, yeah, they probably are. But
and do you see Jared Anderson using that stinky style just to get the W?
I don't see him doing that.
Oh, gosh, I hope not.
No, Jared is a fighter, man. You know, just watching Jared, you know, he's a fighter. You know, he's one of these guys, man, that, you know, when you see, you know, I've seen him in the gym a couple of times, and, you know, he seemed like a hard-working guy. So, and I don't expect anything less from him. You know, sometimes, you know, it takes a loss to make you better. You know, I've seen so many guys that have lost and have come back even better. So let's just see what happens with Jared.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the heavyweight division, it's a little different now, isn't it? When
it's a little different.
Well, so once again, we're not just talking about a loss, Coach Ronnie.
No, we're not.
Like Vladimir and John Ruiz got destroyed, and you know you had a ringside seat. How long did it take David Tua to knock out John Ruiz? What, about 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and how did he come back? He came back jabbing and grabbing, punching and holding. Oh, man, it was the it was so bad for the fans.
Yeah, but you know, you gotta understand, every fighter is different, though. You know, and you know, you named two that did the similar things, but I think, you know, with Jared, you know, look, he's a young guy, and he, you know, he knows the ins and outs of the ring. So I expect him to be a little bit different than those guys. I really do.
Well, let's hope so, because that is no good for the health of the sport. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. No one wants to pay a ticket to see that.
No, absolutely not.
And there it is, guys. And once again, you won't see any holding in Dave Morrell Jr. versus David Benavidez. Yes, February 4th. I said it. Number 7, James.
All right. Deontay Wilder says that he has a big announcement coming up, but a number of fans will be disappointed when the opponent that he will fight is going to be Charles Martin. Fact or fiction?
Ooh.
Fiction. It shouldn't be Charles Martin. I don't think he should fight Charles Martin.
Coach, I don't think it'd be a good idea to fight Charles Martin at this stage of his career.
No, I don't think.
Is that what you're saying also?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think that fight would do him any good. I really truly don't believe that fight would do much for him as far
Mhm.
as getting him back.
No.
If he needs to pick someone else other than Charles Martin.
Mm.
Yeah. Pick someone else, someone you can beat.
Yeah.
Chigal.
They
Yeah,
had,
I said it. Yeah, I said it.
yeah, they had something in reference to a rumor for Deontay Wilder with him potentially fighting a Stephen Shaw, but a person that's close to Wilder's camp said that's absolutely false. Absolutely false. So, yeah, that's kind of out. So, yeah, it'll
We'll
be
see.
interesting to see who he ends up fighting.
Oh boy. Tell you what. He should be fighting the winner of Tyson Fury. Or you know what? Fight Effie. Fight Francis Ngannou. How's that? Fight that
Yeah,
guy.
that's a
So,
great
yeah,
fight.
That's more your speed,
yeah,
right?
That's
Oh,
a great
geez,
fight.
absolutely.
because I have a feeling Prince Charles Martin would lay Deontay out. I do.
Nah, I don't think
He
so.
can punch. Southpaw? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's
Number 8, Big James. Maybe
all
I'm
right.
wrong.
Devin Haney says that he will return in March, but he will have a bad performance against Rolly Romero. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. I think that's a great fight for him, to tell you the truth.
I do
And
too.
I do. I really think it's a great fight for him. But, I think Haney wins, and I think he wins impressively.
Yeah, but I don't think that fight happens. I think both
Yeah,
men would want too much money for that assignment. And I think
of
that's more
course.
money than BLK Prime, right? And so that's the problem with that. But, Coach, is this the end of Devin Haney? Because once he gets that pay-per-view number and it comes back where he only sold 5,000, that's not going to be good, Coach.
No, it's not going to be good for him at all. It's not, and, these fighters got to start understanding how the business or the sport really works.
Yep.
I mean, they really do. They, somebody has to really sit them down and explain to them how this thing works. And, they don't want to hear it because they want a certain number that they have stuck in their head. And they need to unstick it
Yeah.
because they're going to get stuck themselves.
No, I tell you what, they need to unstick it. And then when they get that pay-per-view number and it flops,
Yeah.
then they're going to have to stick it, brother. That's all I have to say. Number 10, Big James.
All right. F.A. Ajagba will shock the world and knock out a 310-pound Martin Bakole to become the IBF mandatory challenger for Daniel Dubois this summer. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Yeah,
He's
honestly, I look. Martin Bacole's a tale of two fighters.
Yes.
He looks great when he's under 300 pounds, and he looks slothish when he's over 300. If he comes in shape, Effie Ajagba is going to night, and he's being cut by Top Rank the very next day. Thanks for playing, Effie. But Ronnie, styles make fights. Effie's a counterpuncher. With Martin Bakole, he can crack, can't he?
I used to train Effie, so
Yep.
I know him very well.
And he hasn't gotten any better since he left your gym. I'll just point that out. As you were, Coach.
But, Effie, he's limited to a lot of things except for his right hand. He depends on that thing like that's the only thing he has, And when you're fighting a guy like Martin Bakole, you need two hands. And you better be able to punch with both of them. And, and he just don't have two hands. He only have the right hand. So, and Bakole definitely has both hands. He's going to be winging them punches at FA. And he's going to catch him. And he's going to knock FA out. Simple as that. The
Do
only
you
chance
smell that,
FA,
James?
the only
You
chance
know what the Rock is cooking? No, I'm just
Go ahead,
only
Coach.
chance FA has is he have to hit Bakole with a right hand that he doesn't see and hurt him, and then hit him with another 3 or 4 that he doesn't see. And I just don't see that happen.
Yeah, you know what? And also, he has to hope that Martin Bacoli comes in over 300 pounds with a Sunday morning hangover.
Yes,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Man,
Last one, coach, and then we'll get everyone to do. And guys, we're going to be going live in about an hour to cover the Jai Opetaia fight in Australia after this, guys. So stay tuned for that. James, final fact or fiction for tonight, sir.
here we go. Iowa Inoue will show that Goodman should have waited another year to fight him, as it will take less than 4 rounds for Inoue to stop him. Fact or fiction?
Well, that's a fact.
No.
Anyway, man, let me tell you something. This guy, he impresses me every single fight he fights. Every time. This kid, man, this kid is in the top 5 as pound for pound best fighter in the world, in my opinion. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And I don't see anybody in this weight class beating him right now. Nobody.
Tell you what, guys, that's it. That's it, guys. James, do you have any final questions for the living legend, Coach Ronnie Shields?
No, I just was able to smell another article right there with that about Iowa anyway. So yeah, that's good there. Like I said, another great session here of Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields, and looking forward to seeing what's in store on Thursday when Joseph Herron goes to the camp out there and checks out what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's gonna be long overdue. I haven't made my way to Coach Ronnie's gym in just a minute. So yeah, I'm gonna bundle up, be prepared to brave the cold weather, and I'm gonna be there a couple days. So God bless all of you guys. And I tell you what, Coach Ronnie, your parting shots for our extended family and your listening audience.
As always, keep watching Wild Week Radio. And you can always follow me at Official Ronnie Shields on Instagram.
Guys, on behalf of Big J.R. Bell and the living legend, the incomparable Coach Ronnie Shields, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields on World Week Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
Proudly presents living legend and elite level trainer Ronnie Shields.